Guys, how's it going? It's your boy Mr. Almighty Lewis back at you with another video. Alright, so I'm back at you with another reaction video. So I had originally planned to start doing more of these more often, before the whole coronavirus thing, but due to coronavirus, I wasn't able to continue making these reaction videos for you guys where I just react to videos here on YouTube that have to do with motivation or something along those lines, right? So yeah, that's the thing. It didn't happen, but here we are. Finally, I've got some time to spare here to make a reaction video, and I've actually been wanting to do this for a while now, so I was like, let me just jump in. All right, so I'm actually gonna be using an actual mic here to record this video. Hopefully the audio is much better now, and there's a better just audio quality experience for you guys, so you guys can enjoy this video a whole lot better. All right, so in today's video, we're going to be reacting to 12 things introverts are best at doing. So this is a video from Psych2Go. Psych2Go. I hope that's how you pronounce that channel name. If I'm wrong, leave it down in the comment section. But I'm pretty sure that's how it's called. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and put on my earphones here and let me go ahead and play it. So as you can see, this is going to be a video about introverts, and I've been talking about introverts for a little while now. As a matter of fact, I just launched a book that I wrote specifically for introverts who are looking to become a little bit more social. And yeah, so I get really deep into the mind of the introvert and how you can use that to your advantage in order to be able to socialize with the world in a very peaceful and very congruent way, instead of having to fake it till you make it or having to impose some sort of a personality that's not really you, just to be able to socialize. So yeah, that's a really good book. There'll be a link in my bio if you guys want to download that book. It's completely for free. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. 12 things introverts are best at doing.
Things introverts are best at doing. There's somewhat of a negative stereotype around introverts. People say that they're too quiet to have fun or be social. Well, that is a blatant lie. Just because introverts don't feel comfortable walking into a room full of strangers or making friends with everyone in a room doesn't mean they don't like to be fun or social. Introverts have some of the best personality traits. They just usually keep to themselves. Here are just some of the things.
This is so true. For anybody who knows me in person, you know how I was. I was very much like this, and I still am somewhat like this to this day. So yeah, let's go ahead and continue going here.
Things introverts are great at doing. Number 1, having thought-provoking conversations. Introverts don't like small talk. The whole, how are you? Can you believe this weather? Did you see the game last night? Chit-chat is worthless.
You know how much I've always hated small talk. Small talk is just one of those things that I'm just like, why does it even exist? Why? Like, why do people do it? It's so weird, honestly. Small talk to me is just weird. Like, I just can't wrap my head around that. Like, I can do very deep and insightful conversations that go very deep into specific topics, but small talk is just like, what the hell is that? Anyway, let's keep going.
Due to their disdain for the idle chatter, they're seen by most as unsociable, and this is not the case. Introverts want to get straight down to the meat of things. They want to hear your deepest thoughts, your desires and dreams. None of that, I'm fine, how are you, talk. Introverts know that you have a story to tell, and they want to hear it. They want to know your opinions and questions and answers to questions that are infrequently spoken about because of their deep topics. Introverts have a therapist, guidance counselor mentality and charisma.
Ooh, you know how many times I've been told that? I've been called therapist. What was the other one? Like a counselor. Yeah. I've been called those things all the time because I'm very good at listening, and I want to hear the full picture, the full story, everything, doesn't matter. Like I don't just want like the superficial details, but I actually want to know. I want to go deep, like not just what actually happened, but how you felt by what happened and everything, associated with the entire story, because a story, a narrative is always loaded with not just the facts, but also the emotions and, the thoughts that were going through your head as that story unfolded. So, yeah, very, very true.
Causing us to make you feel more comfortable with speaking your mind and soul. This is good for everyone around. Introverts get the satisfaction of having a meaningful conversation with someone without having to fill the empty space with chit-chat. And you get a part-time therapist, someone who will really listen to you and your thoughts. Number 2, being effective salespeople.
Just to finish off that point, yeah, that's so true. Like that's pretty much what I've been told, and that's pretty much what I promise. Pretty much like to people who really stick around. Like I'll be your little personal counselor and your therapist. And anytime you have like an issue, a personal development issue or something around those lines, I'll be able to listen to you very carefully and then give you advice that's very connected to your story, depending on, what data I'm able to collect from your story. And so, yeah, it's very important. It's very, very important. I actually have a book also on advice where I teach people how to give advice the right way. And I also teach people how to take in good advice, because there's so many people out there who believe that they can give good advice, but at the end of the day, they can't. They just sort of give you generic advice that's very superficial and it's bland and it just falls short, And at the end of the day, if you get that type of that type of advice in your life, it's most likely guaranteed that it's not going to have a very impactful meaning into your life. So that's why it's important that you actually take in good advice. So let's keep going here.
I know what you're thinking. What in the world? An introvert excels at a profession that requires constant vis-a-vis interaction? Yes, introverts pay attention, care, and are comfortable in familiar situations, so they can be confident in their daily jobs even as salespeople. Being highly cognitive people, introverts take time to fully understand their product, customer, and outcomes. From this, introverts are highly prepared for any unexpected events such as objections, crankiness, and touchy questions. They might not be happy with it, but they can handle it.
This is so true. Oh man, you have no idea. Here at work, every time I'm about to sell something, I'm very empathetic about the customer. Like I'm always considering them first. Like, what are they gonna get out of this? What's really in it for them? As opposed to most people who just want to sell and they just want to make quick money. I'm always thinking about the value that they're gonna get. Is this the right value for them? Is this the right amount of value for them? And are they really paying what the value is really worth? Because at the end of the day, I want them to actually have something that they feel happy and proud of actually buying. I don't want them to have like this thing called buyer's remorse that we call in sales, where you pretty much you go and you buy something, and then later in a few hours or maybe the next day you feel a little bit regretful. You feel some sort of remorse. You're like, man, I shouldn't have bought that. Why the hell did I even buy that? But some salespeople are just very manipulative when it comes to their sales tactics, and they just trying to sell you something in order for them to make a profit, but they don't really actually care about the value that you're getting from you making a purchase with them. So I'm very considerate when it comes to this, and I really look forward to actually giving these people the right value. Take for example my books. Even though I'm not actually selling my books and I'm actually giving them away for free, yes, those books are for free, but I actually took so much time making those books, and I loaded them with a lot of content that I really don't care. Like, I don't care about selling it. I don't care about making a profit, but I do care about you downloading that book and actually reading it, because I know you're going to get a lot of value from it. So, yeah.
Effectively, nonetheless. Number 3, taking care of animals. Introverts love to be swaddled in love and affection by those close to them, especially when it's our furry friends. So they do enjoy to return the favor. Introverts are professionals at taking care of animals, especially when they do it alone. You need a dog sitter? No problem. You need someone to take care of your cat while you're away? Nuff said. Introverts have no problem snuggling up next to a dog, cat, bunny, or goldfish and spending a nice day together. They enjoy
All right, this is probably the one I'm probably the weakest at right now. Like, this is probably not the best I am, and that's not because I hate animals, but that's just because I still I'm still like getting over a little bit of trauma that I went through in my childhood, where animals weren't that nice to me. They would like every time I would see an animal, I could tell like they just wanted to attack me. You know, especially dogs. They just wanted to. They would start barking at me like really like crazy and stuff. You know, like they wanted to bite the hell out of me and they wanted to kill me or something. You know, so I sort of developed like this anger and really resentment toward these. Towards animals in general. But you know, lately I've been working on that and I became a little bit more open. I've been facing my trauma about that, and yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is something that eventually I'm going to become really good at doing. It's just a matter of time.
The company of animals more than humans in most situations. They sympathize with animals. Introverts can calm a troubled pet since they're experienced with calming their own troubled minds. They have a lot of energy and want to have fun, eat, and get their belly rubbed, but when all is said and done, they need their rest. Same, dog. Same. 4. Being observant. Introverts aren't quiet without a purpose. They observe. While you're over there talking about the latest fad or your weird dream last night, they're listening and watching. They see the way your forehead wrinkles when your grandpa's
Ooh, this is so true. This is so true. This is totally me. This is totally me, man. This is why I say, hey, be careful with the people who are quiet, man. Be careful with them. Like, I never underestimate somebody who's quiet, you know? Like, I probably underestimate the person who's talking all the time and blabbering here and there, but I never underestimate the person who's quiet. Because I can assure you they probably know a whole lot more than you do, you know, about the details that are going on in the conversation and everything around in the surroundings and everything that's really going on and who's doing what. You know, like they could probably anticipate a lot of things that are gonna happen in the next few seconds. You know, I can do that. I've actually even played that, you know, on my own. You know, I go out and I just observe and I'm like, okay, in the next 30 seconds, you know, this person's gonna do that, this person's gonna do that, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. And for the most part, I got a pretty 80 to 90% accuracy in that. So yeah, I can pretty much agree with what this video is saying here.
and they notice when there's a new painting hanging up in the office. Introverts spend time watching and memorizing their surroundings and environments so they feel comfortable enough to interact with them. Who would jump into the darkness without a flashlight? Introverts prefer to analyze their surroundings rather than focus on biases, so that when they finally voice out their misgivings, these should be taken seriously. Introverts are the first to notice
So true, so true, as opposed to extroverted people, man. Extroverts are so biased, you know. They just sort of like choose to see what they want to see, you know, based on what they like. And introverts are not like that, you know. We are very observant and we analyze and we see everything without judgment and without any sort of bias, you know. We see everything. And so I think that's a very good trait to have as an introvert, you know. And like, of course, you know, extroverts can practice this, but you know, introverts just have this naturally, and I think it's pretty cool. It's really, really cool, actually.
anything slightly out of the ordinary, and they're also the ones to be the devil's advocate and notice flaws in ideas and concepts. Introverts usually spend a lot of time thinking about the worst possible situation and how to get out of it, so trust them, they know what they're talking about. 5. Being great.
You heard that? Anybody watching this video and you're one of my closest people, make sure you listen when I say something. Okay? Just because I'm quiet don't mean I don't have an opinion. You just haven't let me voice it, but believe me, I have an opinion. And it's probably better than yours. So better listen.
Leaders. As are many of these points, this one is notably surprising. How can someone who dislikes abundant social interaction be a great leader when a leader's job is to lead others? A recent poll shows that not all successful leaders are extroverts. Outgoing individuals use their charisma and spunk to command attention and get things done, while reserved bosses lay low and observe their underlings and always know what's best for them, the person, and the situation. They never speak just to be heard or because they're the boss. They speak to assist and help others because introverts imagine themselves in quite every situation, just to be prepared. They are careful and attentive, humble and prepared.
Oh yeah, this is totally true as well. I do this myself here in the office, and I've done this in my previous jobs, you know, where I pretty much talk, but when I talk, it's to explain something or to guide someone to do something a little bit better or to stop doing something and do this instead. But it's always with a purpose. I never communicate or just use my communication to not really do anything or to just like bond or anything like that. Like, it's always from a leadership frame where I'm really trying to lead the people in the right direction, depending on who they are, depending on their personality, because you see, I can't just force everybody to do the same thing. People are not robots. It's not like they're meant to be doing one specific thing all the time and stuff like that. It's not like they're all meant to do the same thing either. Everybody has their own personality. Everybody has their own way of being, and I really take that into consideration all the time. And so I like to guide people properly, depending on who they are. So that's where the leadership comes in.
Paired, and they're comfortable working alone, showing that good leadership isn't always flashy. So if you ever have a boss that is more on the shy or reserved side, this doesn't mean that he or she dislikes you or thinks they're better than you. It could be that they're an introvert as well and don't have anything to say about your performance since you're doing a good job without them. 6. Being great workers. Alongside being great leaders, introverts also know very well when to take a step back and get the work done. They're attentive, wholehearted, determined, and motivated to always do their very best. Since introverts usually don't use their words or quick wit to talk them out of sticky situations, they use their intellectual prowess to provide an answer rather than an excuse. Hand them an extended project, let them work alone in a comfortable environment, and you'll get incredible results. Introverts need little supervision because they're always triple-checking themselves.
Oh yeah, totally, man. Like, I don't understand. Like, there's some extroverts out there who literally, I don't know how they do it. Like, they like to go and study or work as a group, as a team and stuff like that. I'm just like, man, wow, how you do that? How you do that? If you put me with a group of people, most likely I'm gonna feel very awkward and very just, intimidated by these people and just bothered really at the end of the day, because unless of course I know them and they're like my very closest friends, then in that case I probably won't even be able to concentrate, because at that point I probably will get very social and I will just just start talking about who knows what, because as you may know, or maybe you don't if you're not an introvert, introverted people love to be social, but only with the people they trust and they feel a very deep connection with. If they don't feel a deep connection with you, most likely they're just going to do that little small talk and then get rid of you. Most likely that's what's going to happen. So, if you ever meet an introvert and, they start talking to you, they start doing like small talk, that means that they don't really actually care about you. And they're using the small talk they use the small talk as a strategy, to get rid of you, because an introvert knows that their small talk sucks. And so when they put that out there, the other person's gonna feel like, oh, they intentionally they feel a little bit bothered because their small talk isn't that good, and so they'll just naturally walk away. Instead of telling the person to get the fuck out, they'll just use this sort of a strategy in order to push people away. And so, yeah, that's just pretty much it, how it goes. So, yeah. Let introverted people work by themselves if they want to work by themselves. It's just more effective sometimes, and they don't really need to work as a team. If it's not required, if it's not really needed, just let them do their job. Put them in a place where they're by themselves, just like I'm doing here. I'm alone in the office, and I'm doing some really crazy shit. And and I don't need anybody here. I don't need nobody to be pushing me or anything like that.
Seeing the flaws in everything and preparing every argument that could be made against their words.
Exactly.
And working around it to avoid said confrontation. These qualities make them effective followers as well, being dedicated to the completion of their responsibility, provided their solitude is undisturbed. 7. Listening to your troubles. Have you ever needed to vent, confided in a close friend, and felt like they weren't really even listening to you? That's the opposite of an introvert. Since introverts know how hard it is for them to express their emotions verbally, if a loved one expresses feelings to them, they will listen hard and well. Introverts are perfect for when you need a shoulder to cry on or just someone to hear your story. As said earlier, introverts hate small talk. So if you go straight to...
I mean, pretty much we kind of covered this earlier in this video, but yeah, pretty much. I mean, we'll listen to you, man. Like, as an introvert, like, I'm a very, very good listener, and I'm probably one of the best listeners you'll ever meet. Actually, if you're watching this video right now, believe me, I'm probably one of the best listeners you'll ever meet. Like, I may not be as social, I may not be as charismatic, even though I've been working on that very, very strongly. At the end of the day, I'm more of a very good listener than I am a speaker. So if you think my speaking skills are good, I'm very good at making videos and being charismatic, oh, you should see my skills when I'm listening. I'm really good at that. It doesn't matter what you throw at me, believe me, I can handle it, and I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot, all right? So I can handle it, and I can tell you how to approach things moving forward. So, yeah.
With a meaty, deep talk, they'll provide an impeccable set of ears and even some incredible advice for you to follow. Introverts are sensitive to pain, their own and others. They can tell when you're really upset or when you need to get something off your chest. If a reserved friend asks you if everything's all right, there's no need to hide behind another, "I'm fine, I'm just tired." Go ahead and tell them what's bothering you. There's no better support than that of an introverted friend. 8. Counseling. In addition to listening, introverts excel at helping you cope with your worries. They can easily read people while others are just listening. An introvert analyzes and interprets the speaker's thoughts, actions, choice of words, and preconceptions. They can notice little body expressions you don't even realize you're doing. They can help you pin down exactly what's bothering you and even suggest how to resolve it. Unfortunately, many introverts are familiar with pain and suffering, so they're quite
That could just not be said so much better. That was good. That was just perfect. It's exactly what happens. It's exactly what's going on. And this is why I'm so good at doing personal development, and that's why I love it. It's my passion, and I believe very few people can actually beat me at this. Like, very few people. I really mean this. Like, whoever's watching this video, I'm pretty sure I could probably beat you all in personal development. Like, there's just no way you can take me down in that arena. And that's not like me bragging or saying that you suck or that you're below me or anything like that. It's just that I have a very good, it's just something I'm very passionate about. As opposed to many people, they may study this stuff, as far as personal development goes and counseling and therapy and all this stuff. You may study it to some extent, maybe because you need to, or maybe because you were taught this in school or something like that, or you have some sort of interest. But believe me, this is my passion. I've been doing this for years. So this is one of the areas where I feel very confident, and I feel like I know a lot about this. And there's a natural part to me as well that has that in me. So combine that, as I've said before, I've said in one of my personal development videos that in my YouTube channel, that once you combine talent and you combine skill and you combine passion and you combine hard work and the willingness to fail, all those four, the combination of those four will make you unstoppable in whatever it is that you choose to do. So I've checked off those 4 boxes with personal development, so trust me when I say this. I just love it. Like, this is very strong passion for me to do this. And not only that, but I've failed many times at this as well. I've experimented with a lot of personal development techniques and skills and everything. Pretty much everything you hear in the industry, I've heard it at some point. And there's just nothing really new for me to learn about personal development, except when people say it in a very different way. So that, of course, it's always beautiful when somebody shares personal development in a very different way, a very unique way, But other than that, like, yeah. And who knows, maybe you're the one who's watching this video and you may have your own little thing that you're very, very good at and nobody can really beat you at that. And that's fucking cool. Everybody has to find their one thing that they're really good at and just go all in that. But yeah, we're very good counselors. I don't know if this is like every introvert, because like I said, there is some skill to be developed, and that's why I'm saying that. Yes, introverts have naturally they're just good at this, but of course, I studied it in order to refine that natural born talent inside of me, and so yeah, I think it's very important. If you're an introvert and you have this talent in you, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because in my YouTube channel, I teach you how to actually refine all this and be able to use this more effectively than you do right now, so definitely check it out. There'll be a link in my bio if you want to subscribe to my YouTube personal development YouTube channel. Let's keep going.
Experienced on how to alleviate any emotional pain you're going through. Furthermore, calming someone down isn't all about talking. It's about understanding and making deep relationships built on trust. Being empathetic is what introverts do. Having someone there, listening and supporting you in a time of need, is just as comforting as a nice warm hug.
Ooh, this is so good too. There's a lot of things that extroverts get ready. They get it so wrong. Like every time they see someone who's in pain and stuff, they always want to like talk him out of it and be like, hey, you know what? Why are you feeling this way? Fuck that motherfucker. You should feel this way. You should feel that way. What? There's too much fucking chatter. It's too much talking from the extroverted person. Too much fucking talking. If you're an extrovert and you fucking talk all the time, you know what I mean. It's just annoying. It's annoying. Like when somebody's in pain, why the fuck would you go to them and start fucking talking to them and talking and just fucking rambling? Like, yo, they don't give a shit. They're in pain. They're in fucking pain. They're suffering. They're in their head. Their fucking head is in whatever fucking problem that whatever the pain, the cause of the pain, that's where their focus is at. And you're trying to talk them out of that. Like, no. No, the best thing you can really do is fucking listen, and understand before you open your big mouth. Your big mouth is doing a disservice. Jesus, I'm so fucking passionate about this because I've had so many extroverts. Like when I was in pain, I remember being in those times when I was in pain, especially like in high school. I was in pain. Those people who just came up to me. And they were like, motherfucker, like, can you just fucking listen and understand? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what the fuck? Shit. I'm so passionate about that shit. Anyway, let's keep going.
Many introverts may often initiate in moments like these. 9. Thinking before acting. Introverts don't speak quite often, so when they do, every single word was chosen very carefully ahead of time. Sometimes, due to this, introverts may take a while to get a sentence out, since they're mentally preparing and rehearsing each word before they say it. Since introverts take a while to express themselves, many extroverts just ignore them and talk over them. This can cause introverts to become even more shy so that they don't get ignored again, as this is traumatic and embarrassing. So if your introverted friend speaks up, pay close attention because what he or she has to say is probably important. 10. Knowing themselves. We all know that quiet persons have the loudest minds. Introverts spend a lot of time in their own heads. From this, they know.
So true. Before we move on to the other one, yes. We are so good at thinking, and yes, to some extent this is good, and then to some extent this is bad, because we tend to overthink things, and there's things out there that it's probably not a good idea to overthink before you actually go and actually just do it. So I would say that's a little bit of a 50-50 there. It's not exactly as convenient. I think it really depends on what you're doing, really, because let's just say you're going to do a very complex job, then it's a really good idea that you overthink because there's going to be a lot of details that you might miss and that may cause a catastrophe later on during the process if you don't address it before you even begin. So definitely it's a good idea. If you, let's just say you're being like an architect or something, you're about to build an entire building or something, you got to keep a lot of things in mind before you even start putting that building together and stuff. And so yeah, but let's just say, for example, as a guy, you're about to go and approach a girl. In that instance, it may be a very bad idea to start overthinking, and I'm extremely guilty of this. I just tend to overthink a lot when it comes to, talking to women in general. And so, this ultimately like stops me from going and actually talking to the girl because I overthink it. I'm like, well, okay, what am I gonna say? I can say this, I can say the other thing. I have like 10 possible freaking openers in like 3 seconds, and I'm just like, what the fuck, like, how am I supposed to do this shit, but like, whatever, it is what it is, right? But definitely it's a 50-50, and definitely it's something that should be addressed, properly, and you should, calibrate depending on what the situation is.
Know themselves pretty well. Aside from being silent critics, introverts are constantly having inner monologues, evaluating themselves and their choices in everyday situations. Thus, they rarely have any existential crises and can easily figure out their strengths and weaknesses. They know who they are, what they want, and what is important to them. They might just not tell you all of that information. You could say that they're silent but confident.
Yeah, so definitely. Introverts spend a lot of time in their head. And because of this, they're able to analyze and process a lot of things that go on in their lives so much deeper than the ordinary person or just extroverts by definition. So, yes, we tend to be in our heads a lot and we tend to overthink, not only overthink the things that we're about to do, but overthink the things that we've done previously. Every decision that we've made and everything that's happened to us in the past. We tend to analyze that and analyze it very deeply. And because we take the time to actually analyze those things, we actually get to understand ourselves a little bit better. Because the best way to really understand yourself is to really have that self-reflection and really go back to all the actions that you've taken in the past and understand why you took those actions and what was the source of it. What kind of mindset were you in when you took that decision. And so when you're in that position, you allow yourself to really process everything, and that ultimately leads to you knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. And once you know those, you're able to make better decisions moving forward, because you're able to actually pick and choose exactly what scenarios to put yourself in and which ones not to, because you know what your weaknesses are, you know what your strengths are, you know where you're going to shine, you know where you're going to make the most amount of impact, and where you're not going to make an impact because that's your weakness, that's not where you're going to shine, because that's just not congruent to who you are. So, but you can't know that if you don't actually take the time to analyze and really, introspect back in your past. So definitely very powerful skill set there.
11. Being a source of wisdom. By nature, introverts love information, learning, and discovering new things. They might not be the first to go mountain climbing, but they'll definitely be in awe over a new NASA discovery. Their minds are constantly urging for more facts and things to ponder over in the silence of their daily lives. Not only that, but they use these interesting facts and information to share with others when the time is relevant. So you never know when your small-voiced friend might know the exact answer to your problems after reading about a similar situation months ago.
This is so true, and it's so on point as well. This is pretty much something that I do. Like, if you know me and you're very close to me, you know that I love to study a lot. I study so much, and most of that studying doesn't actually, pay off until maybe months later. Like when the situation itself presents itself. In the meantime, it's mostly just preparation for the future, really. So, I pretty much love to watch a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna go into like everything that I watch, but I like to watch a very wide range of topics, not just personal development. Even though personal development is my primary passion, and that's the one I study the most, of course, and because I have to teach it as well. So it's a very different thing to study it for yourself and apply it for yourself, and then having to get it on camera and actually having to teach it to somebody. But yeah, it's very cool to just go out there and study some facts, and then it's a good feeling, when you're able to at some point, you're that everything that you studied, and it gets to pay off, when you're able to actually help someone, figure out an answer or something, it's a good feeling.
12. Being a loyal friend. Introvert friends will not betray you. They have no reason to. They would never talk about you behind your back or lie to you in a harmful way. Every secret, desire, or dream you've ever shared with them will always be safe, whether or not the friendship lasts. Introverts cherish friendships, and no matter the circumstances, would never betray someone who once confided in them. They value relationships and try hard to keep them, which makes them some of the best friends you will ever have. Introverts have quite a lot of skills in those quiet little bodies. If you're an extrovert...
That is so true. Yeah, as far as friendships go, they go very, very deep. And that's why I don't have that's why I don't have that many friends, because I pick and choose friends accordingly. It's not enough for just for someone to be nice with me and that's pretty much it. It's gonna take far more than that. It's gonna take a lot more than just me accepting you as my friend. It's just not gonna be that easy. You're gonna have to go through a lot of hoops, a lot of steps. And we're gonna have to share a lot of experiences before I can even consider you a friend. You know, like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how nice you are to me. It doesn't matter how many things, how many good things you do for me. None of those things matter at the beginning. You know, before the friendship even starts. Like, it has to do everything from like the vibe that I feel around you, you know, the way you communicate, the way you are. And there's just a lot of variables that we as introverts take into consideration before we take on someone as a friend. And so, you know, I can go over that in a separate video, probably in my YouTube channel. I'll probably make a video over there as far as like how to actually pick and choose your friends properly as an introvert. But yeah, definitely. Like once we pick a friend, though, once they've gone through that, they've gone and passed through that, you know, we're pretty much very loyal, and like nothing's gonna really destroy that friendship. You know, we may go through a couple of arguments here and there, but eventually, you know, we know how to bring everything back. We actually know how to deal with arguments very properly in relationships because we're able to understand and have a lot of empathy for each other. And so, you know, when we argue, there's a sense of like we want to reach an agreement. We want to reach some sort of like conclusion where the two of us are very respectful towards each other, even though we might disagree in the ultimate decision. But like, yeah, so that's friendship for you guys.
Don't be hesitant to communicate with silent peers. You'll be surprised at what they're capable of. And if you're an introvert, be proud. You have nothing to feel inferior about, since behind that shyness lies a storm of talents. And that's all from us at Psych2Go. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.
I like how they put the animation of the introvert with a cape, you know, kind of giving us that sense that we're heroes and stuff and we're loaded with superpowers, because that's pretty much how I feel. And I'm pretty sure if you're an introvert watching this video, or or you're just an introvert in general, like you probably feel like you're a little bit different than most people around you, and that you have like these superpowers that, you know, allow you to do things that most extroverts are just not capable of doing. And so yeah. All right, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching that reaction video. I actually I had a lot of fun doing this one, and I thought it was very, very relevant, you know, to really the movement that I'm trying to establish now, because I am making that transition already, as opposed to before where I was making personal development for pretty much everybody. At this point, I've realized that I just can't continue doing that. I can't just continue sharing personal development for everyone, because, you know, because if you know anything about marketing or sales, you know that when you try to appeal to everyone, you end up appealing to nobody. So that's pretty much what was happening with my content. I feel like it wasn't really hitting anybody until recently, you know, where I decided to just make that transition of going after introverts, because I am an introvert, and I feel like my personal development, the way I understand it and the way I deliver it, you know, is meant to, you know, be taken specifically by introverts, because that's really the people who are actually resonating with my content. It's introverted people, because they understand the language, and the fact that I deliver this content in a very analytical and systematic way, it's meant to be only understood by introverts, because I've realized that extroverted people, once they see my content, they tend to get pretty bored. And if you made it to the end of this video, that means that you can potentially be an introvert, because I don't put that many special effects. You know, there's not that much stimulation going on throughout the video. And so introverts, as you may know, they don't require that much stimulation to be put into their content. You know, as long as it's good content, most likely it's going to be good. And they're going to want to pay attention to it no matter what. And so, yeah. So now I'm making that transition to teaching only introverts and only introverted men, as a matter of fact, personal development, and it's pretty much tailored to them now. So if you're one of those lucky individuals that's watching this video right now, make sure you go and you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is fucking amazing. You're gonna love it. And you know, that's pretty much where I speak very openly, you know, and I make various videos that are similar like this. As a matter of fact, I'm using the same background that I use in those YouTube videos. So yeah, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be amazing, and I just can't wait for the content that's about to come up. And I've got a list of very cool videos that are coming up, and they're gonna be cool. They're gonna be awesome, and I wouldn't want you to miss those. So please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's going to be a link in my bio that says personal development YouTube channel, and it's called the Almighty Lewis. And yeah, go and check that out. It's gonna be cool. You're gonna love it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video here to the 12 things introverts are best at doing. I completely agree with each of them. Of course, you know there's more, but but I think those 12 were pretty solid. They're pretty basic, I would say. And yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next reaction video.